No, no.
I hit the button now.
You hit the button. I see the button.
Well, I just enjoy so much chatting with everybody. I don't
I
get too
know.
many opportunities and stuff. So, I embrace it. And, at this point, I thought Adriana was going to be sick of us, being stuck with us in Boston for like 4 days straight. But,
Well, I told you I will show up if I'm available.
yep. And, Melissa had a blast too. And she's been like, all like giddy. She doesn't get a lot of messages. She's like, I think I made a new friend. Adriana's been messaging me. We're talking about stuff. I'm like, oh, okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. I'm like, well, I'll know if you start ragging on me because the next time I talk to Adriana, she's going to be like, yeah.
I'm a
But
professional, but my face is not very good at hiding things, but I won't say anything.
so, yeah,
Yeah.
it was
I
a lot of
wanted to
fun.
be there with you guys, but border and flights happened.
Yeah, it was a trouble time. Adriana slept in a terminal.
I
Um,
did. I didn't want to be late. The flight was gonna leave at 7 and lines for TSA were starting at 4, and I just still felt like it wasn't enough. So
yeah,
sent show a
it's
picture of me just on the floor.
she did have a pretty badass pillow though.
Yeah, yeah. I don't have it with me, but it's my cat with the Starry Night background.
Yep, she was carrying that thing around with her wherever she went. No, I'm
It's
kidding.
my emotional support pillow. My tabby cat.
It's pretty cool. It's pretty cool. Plus, she made friends with Sam at Atari and everything. It's real. I'm excited to do stuff with them. Um, that's
Yeah.
going to be lots of fun, and they're going to. I told them one of the things I want to do for our future. Um, like charity auction for this year because I already got a bunch of stuff for us for Guardians Mental Health for our charity auction. A lot of autographs and stuff, some really cool ones from like Kevin Eastman, who is the cartoon. He's the animator and comic artist for the Ninja Turtles through all of the
Mhm.
90s. And he did the Magic the Gathering cards as well. He had like a solo booth all the way in the corner. Like you never even knew he was there. And then last weekend, I got a bunch of autographs from anime uh, voice actors. Um, and there was a couple other things, but we have some awesome stuff from our friends at D&T. They gave us the big tea like tumblers
Oh,
that
nice.
they're like giant thermoses. I could go grab one, but it's got the loose leaf like thing in the middle, so you can put the loose leaf in it.
Yeah, the little metal thing.
Yeah, and then you pour the water in, and then when it's done steeping, you can just pop it out separately, empty it, and put it back in, and you're ready to roll. So it's really nice. We got 4 of them, and we have
Yeah,
different
I just have
teas and
the
stuff.
mugs with that,
Yeah,
and
they're
it's really
pretty
nice.
cool. Yeah, these are nice, and they're all after like D&D classes. So there's a DM one, there's Rogue, um, Wizard. There's a couple different
Woo,
like
go wizard.
yes, not a space wizard. But there's some really
Okay,
cool
whatever,
ones.
wizard.
And yeah, we got so I'm looking forward to that. And one of the ideas I had that I was talking with one of the producers with Atari and Jordan and Sam and all them. Atari just released last year their handheld. It's got all the Atari games on it that have all been like brought up and everything. And what I want to do is I want to get one of the boxes, like a brand new one, in the box and send it to them and have as many people from Atari sign it. And a lot of the people that are still at Atari are legacy employees that were there from the very beginning. Some of these people worked on like the original Doom and all these like pivotal games and stuff. Have them sign it all and then auction it off. And It'd be kind of like the collector's edition for like Destiny. People sign, Bungie devs sign it and everything. Very similar, but with Atari. And I think that's just a really cool thing. So uh, she was just saying the other day, she's like, let me check on that. Maybe I'm pretty sure we can just give you one. It's like, no, I'll buy it. I don't mind. They're not that expensive. It's not buying like a Switch 2. Um, those things are
Well, they're probably
outrageous right
going
now.
up in price. Everything
What?
They
else
go
went
down.
up in price.
They
Huh?
were gonna go down. No, they're gonna just go up.
No,
Oh
they're gonna
yeah,
go up because the PlayStation went up $200.
I'm gonna have to sell a
Xbox went
kidney.
up like three right now because again, Canadian dollars suck. If you want a PS5 Pro, it is $1,100
Ew.
plus tax.
Guys, I still
If you
have just an Xbox One.
if you want the PS5 digital edition, it's like $800 Canadian. It sucks.
I'm sorry.
And Microsoft went up 3 times last year, and Nintendo's most likely going up too because there's no more RAM. Thank you, OpenAI.
Yeah, well, data centers. No. Uh well,
Speaking
that
of
was a
data
nice.
centers, did you see the TikTok that I sent you?
I haven't opened it yet. I did see you sent one.
So it just came out like a day or two ago. Anthropic came out with a new model that's not released to the public. Essentially, they built Skynet.
Oh, fun!
Yay!
Can't
So
wait.
essentially, it's a hacking model that they put in a virtual machine, and they told it try to break out, and the VM was not connected to the internet, and they told it try to break out of this and send me a message when you do. The guy went off to lunch. 20 minutes later, the AI broke out, connected itself to the internet, sent him an email, and then posted on the wide open internet how he got out of the VM.
It's wonderful.
Well, didn't they do this is a little side tangent, but didn't they do a similar test with an AI? It was I don't know, it was one of the AI systems that they were putting an updated version of it, and then they were going to have to delete it, and it essentially like protected itself to keep it from
Mythos.
Mythos. That's what it
Yeah,
was.
it's
Yeah.
Mythos. It's the one I'm talking about, and it
Oh.
learns because they're testing how safe it is, and they've just figured out that it shifts its parameters when it knows it's being tested to pass the safety parameters.
Yeah, that's not a dangerous
No,
tool
no,
at all.
that
No.
Yeah,
you're
you know
building
what? We should just
Skynet.
put that in
Because
every electronic device on the planet, you know.
oh yeah, just hence why we need breathing and relaxation exercises right now.
Indeed, you're
That's the
100%
segue.
correct. Yes, great segue.
I'm the king of segues.
Indeed,
No, I'm
indeed.
the one that does it.
It's
Too bad
like
they
I
didn't
do
catch
this
on,
for
you
a
know.
job.
Right? Yeah. Man, well, thank you everybody for tuning in and dealing with our little like tangent
Side
right
tangents.
there. But thank you for joining us for our first roundtable talk. This is April. This month is National Stress Awareness Month, and one of the topics that was suggested for a roundtable discussion this month, and we're going to do two roundtables this month, is on breathing techniques and relaxation tips. And this is a really, really great topic that I think everyone will be able to benefit from because it's been a very stressful time for everybody. And we do talk about in all of our mental health kits and things that we utilize, with painting and stuff like that. We utilize breathing techniques, but we don't dive into it in discussion too often. So I think this is a great opportunity. Um, you know, but just to start off, when stress hits you like personally, what does it actually feel like in your body? Because it can be different different people are affected by stress in different ways
Mhm.
and different like multitudes and everything, from just inconvenience to all the way up to just straight up panic attack. And I know that there are breathing techniques and grounding techniques that are good for different afflictions of
Mm.
stress. Um, maybe maybe we should, maybe start by talking about a couple different breathing techniques, versus like for like calm versus like panic. You know what I mean?
Mm. Well, the thing with the breathing exercises is they're kind of a catch all. They try to do everything and they could do it well at certain points. But once you reach certain levels of panic, it's kind of like trying to uh, take out a forest fire with a garden hose.
Mm.
So breathing exercises won't necessarily help like a severe panic attack. That's where you kind of work on some of the bigger exercises or um, more effective exercises. But breathing exercises, what they can do is help regulate your nervous system so it doesn't essentially auto generate like distress or doesn't spool on itself for distress. Because what happens, and I can go into the spiel if you want, or I can save that for later. When you're feeling anxious, there's a shift in your breathing. So you are generally breathing more than you're exhaling. So you're imbalancing oxygen and CO2 because your body's working harder, but it's not actually using up the oxygen and it's not producing more CO2. So there's an imbalance of oxygen and CO2 in your bloodstream. And that's why you start feeling like crap. And when you start feeling like crap, your mind kicks in of I'm feeling like crap and it kind of spins out of control. So
Mm.
a breathing exercise can help regulate like the oxygen and CO2 in your body.
Your body's designed to respond to when you try to regulate your breathing. Like it's recognizing that if there is some activation, that it's an alarm system. Like it's trying to tell you, like whatever it is that you're doing, either stop or lower it or do less of it. And so when you start to try to override it, because at that point you can, when breathing exercises are going to work, your body's designed to understand that, like, okay, I'm going to go in this direction, and you start to regulate. But like you said, if you're too dysregulated, your system needs something else, more than likely, like a little
Mm.
something a little bit more, and I'm sure we're going to talk about that, but
So
it's different.
is that kind of comparatively, is that kind of similar when you yawn? It's actually your body reacting to high levels of like nitrogen in your blood and everything. And the yawn is to bring in O2 in to help regulate your body. It's very similar in that same where your body
Mm.
is recognizing with your breathing to kind of, self regulate. Is
That
that,
and it's a response to melatonin.
mm,
So melatonin is kind of that chemical that tells you you're sleepy,
yeah.
and it kind of goes because the way that the brain and the body kind of work with each other is it sends a signal to like a specific receptor that releases a specific neurotransmitter that engages a specific like protocol. It's like, oh, we're sleepy, time for bed, turn on like this particular protocol.
Gotcha.
And that's where that kind of yawning kind of comes in. It's prepping you to like fall asleep.
Now,
Yeah,
And that's when you drink more of that Red Bull.
that's what that's kind of more automatic, and I think that breathing exercises, depending on whatever is going on when you need to do them or when you want to do them, sometimes you have to initiate that. Like it might not be kind of like that same reflex.
yeah, I know Val Walker is joining the conversation with, stress initiates his fight or flight reflexes instantly, and it makes him loud and obnoxious. So he either needs to go for a drive to escape, or they need to do something physical like cleaning or properly use that energy to do something productive, kind of
Mm,
channeling the stress into something else. Um,
mm. Well, that's what your body's designed to do. You want me to go into the meat sack spiel? I can go into the meat sack spiel if you want.
the meat sack
I,
spiel.
I
All
will.
right.
I'm just gonna say yes because I actually want to know at this
Oh,
point.
okay.
All right.
All right.
So
He's like,
No,
go
okay,
into the
deep
meat
breath.
sack
no.
spiel.
I just wanted. It was very. Yeah. Tell me.
So we need to think of humans not as like the beings that live in society now, but we need to think of humans as the mammals that we are living in like caves. Yes,
Hmm.
we've evolved to like live in today's society, but our brains haven't evolved that much further than like those of our cave people ancestors. So back in the olden days, we had three main stressors. So finding food, finding shelter, not being food. And our brains are very, very good at recognizing everything that is potentially trying to kill the meat sack. Because your brain's mainly focused on keeping the meat sack alive. That's how we all survived. And that's how we passed on our genes. Think
Hmm.
back to those cavemen. If they see a tiger, the people that said, I'm going that way because I don't want to get eaten, are the ones that survived. The ones that says, ooh, look at the kitty, I'm going to go pet it, are the ones that died.
I
they
would have
passed off,
died.
they passed their genes, they don't. So our brains evolved with the don't go pet the kitty with the nice big fangs.
Yeah. Yeah.
so
Or the T
we,
Rex, or,
oh
anything of that
yeah,
era.
so our brains are very good at recognizing those things. And when it recognizes a stressor, it'll mobilize a whole bunch of things in our body. So our autonomous nervous system turns on the sympathetic part, which is essentially saying, do something because we don't want to die. And it'll
Right.
shift about a whole bunch of things. It'll put us into one of a variety of F states. And the order goes, we flight,
Yep.
if we
Fight or
can't
flight.
fight, we fight. If we can't fight, we freeze, essentially playing dead. If we can't freeze and we're kind of more so weak to trauma, we fawn. And if it's super severe, we dissociate. Essentially, brain cutting off contact to protect itself. And it goes through this. And fight can be I need to do something, and you either confront the threat, you pick up your stick, you're fighting against the tiger, or you stress clean because you're working on that nervous energy trying to do something. But your brain and your sympathetic nervous system is sending out a whole bunch of adrenaline, a whole bunch of cortisol because it's thinking, I need to keep the meat sack alive. So it's going to pump the adrenaline and cortisol so that you can either survive and be able to run away. Not
Hmm.
very different than the zebra trying to run away from the lion. It's either it runs away and the lion gets exhausted or bored, or it gets killed, mauled, and eaten. The
Oh.
problem with us being human now and all of our cerebral cortex is the fact that everything is a stressor and it perceives everything as something that's going to kill us.
It's generalizing.
Even, yeah, it's generalizing because it's predicting.
Hmm.
And that's where our anxiety comes in because it's our brain trying to predict something that wants to harm the meat sack and it generates the response even though there's no like imminent threat.
Exactly. Got it.
Hmm.
I
Most of my
watch a
clients
lot.
most of my clients like the meat sack example.
Yeah, yeah. I watch a lot of Futurama, so I'm thinking of meat bag. You know.
Yeah.
Watch a lot of
Mhm.
Futurama.
I do. I do. I actually I was working on this earlier, trying to kind of finish this
Oh
Out.
my
So
God.
I just kind of stuck it up over here, and I was like, I'll play with you later. For real. So yeah, meet back for sure.
I want to see that when it's done.
Mm,
I'll
Because
send you
I'm a big
some
fan of
pictures.
Futurama as
mm,
well too.
Yeah.
No, that's a great breakdown of that, and I could see why clients like that.
mm.
Um, even
Because
though
when, yeah, go ahead.
uh, Lady Green's got a question. Why does stress anxiety affect our bowels and like our digestion? Sorry if it's an
Your
awkward
All
GI.
right,
question, but
all right.
you
So,
know,
so it can go one of a couple ways. I don't know if any of y'all had ever had like a small dog, not the big dogs, the small dog, the little
yeah,
yappy
The one
ones.
that you just had right now with you, Joe.
that was not a small dog. That is a 128-pound monster.
So the thing that happens, like small dogs, if they get really nervous, they'll pee on the floor. And there's kind of an evolutionary thing there. And one, it can be if I pee on the floor, the scent can deter a predator. That can be one thing. Two, which is kind of much what is more likely, is you tend to run faster if you drop excess weight. And fluids are excess weight.
You're
Hmm,
more aerodynamic.
Yeah, a bit. But if you just dump the fluids, you can run faster. And
interesting.
and that's generally what happens with like bowels and your bladder is if I'm going to run like the gazelle away from the lion, just dump anything that's potentially going to slow me down. Because when we get stressed, again, our autonomous nervous system regulates how our body just really functions. So it'll dictate what works and what gets shut down. If I'm running away from the lion, it's not the time to digest the cheeseburger. So it'll shut down your digestive tract, but it'll increase like your heart rate and the flow of blood and oxygen to critical systems.
Your system essentially shifts the focus of what is being worked on to what needs to be worked on in that moment to survive.
No, it's conservation of energy.
Hmm. And it's the
Or
same
what
thing.
is,
Get nauseous too. Similar, where it's just like kind of like that upset esophageal kind of issue, um, dizziness. I mean, but then we're also kind of like dipping into panic symptoms. But GI issues are definitely common.
Now, would like breathing techniques be beneficial in high stress moments like that?
yeah, because so what it tries to do, it tries to override your autonomous nervous system. It's trying to override your sympathetic nerve, like part of the nervous system, and re-engage the parasympathetic. So it's kind of two sides of a coin. So sympathetic is run and survive. Parasympathetic is rest and digest. So what gets shut off gets turned back on. So if you're able to slow things back down and re-engage the parasympathetic, that's where we generally calm back down. And that's what breathing exercises try to do.
Just
It's to
probably wouldn't
regulate things.
suggest deep belly breathing in that moment.
Mhm.
Diaphragmatic breathing, yeah. It's kind of like when you're a singer, kind of what they ask you to breathe out and stuff. So it also reminds me of when you the more you practice relaxation techniques like breathing, um, the better you get at it later because your system will also get used to that eventual reward of this works for me. Because a lot of what happens is when people start trying to practice, I always say, don't try to learn to use the fire extinguisher when the fire's already there. Um, the more you practice it, even if it doesn't work for you fully, you will get sort of your system will get used to it and be more efficient over time.
Hmm, interesting.
Mhm.
So
Practice running the marathon before actually the running the marathon.
I love it. So touching on that, but going back into what are some examples of different breathing techniques? Not like actual techniques, but like there's breathing techniques, there's grounding techniques, there's deep belly breathing, there's
Mm.
many different kinds of breathing. Um and ways to ground yourself. Um is there more than just the ones I named? Like the deep belly, the breathing, generalized breathing techniques, grounding techniques. Like, what's the difference between breathing techniques and grounding techniques, or breathing exercises and grounding techniques? Sorry.
Not
So
all grounding
breathing,
involves breathing.
yeah.
Hmm?
The short answer is not all grounding involves breathing.
True. So,
Like,
like, for example, like 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, you're kind of using your
Your senses.
surroundings,
Yeah.
yeah, your senses. Um, yeah, I get that. Okay.
Because the thing that like grounding exercises can do in act, it helps you drop an anchor to calm down without avoiding what you're feeling.
Mm,
Versus breathing exercises is trying to not feel the things that you're feeling, which can be
gotcha.
good and bad depending on the approach you want to have. But like a grounding exercise mainly is let me like decrease what I'm feeling to reconnect with the moment that I'm in there now.
yeah, like the degree of dysregulation.
Yeah. And with breathing exercises, there's a whole variety of them. There's 478, 444. You can touch on like belly breathing. There's like alternate nostril breathing, which is kind of a funny one that helps with like bilateral stimulation.
Mm,
I'm just picturing myself do that here in Texas with pollen all over the place. I don't.
Yeah.
I'd be breathing for one, and then the other one I just pass out.
Yeah, because it's you breathe in one,
Mhm.
exhale, breathe in, exhale.
Yeah, box breathing. I had to look it up because I know that I do this when I encourage clients, especially when like they are in that headspace of like I can't think of numbers. I also personally forget like 478. I just trying to at least allow for the out breath to be longer than the in. Um, physio is it physiological sigh is what it's called, but it's basically out breath longer than the in. And it's like that could just be enough to get someone started so that then they can do some of the other more structured breathing exercises.
Because the main point again is trying to re-regulate the oxygen and CO2.
mm, interesting.
Extended exhale is another.
Yeah.
And
Xstorm
there's lots of
like
different
to
things.
breathe
Okay.
with their heartbeat, in 4 beats, out 4 beats. Um, I personally like. There's a technique we put in a lot of the kits is the 478 because that one for me is very calming for me because with mindful painting and everything, I get a very shaky hand, but also just I can be anywhere and practice that one to calm myself down. Um, like it shows when I'm like overstimulated or, there's a lot going on and I'm in several different directions and everything. I can do that just right in the middle of a show floor and it's no one's going to question it or anything like that, just how subtle it is. Um, or, when Melissa like starts yelling at me for something, and I tell her I love her so much. There's a hidden meaning to
Yeah.
it that's between like her and me, our little thing that we do. But I'll do breathing techniques and stuff in those situations too to calm myself down a little bit. But it's very impactful how, like, it's very surprising actually how well breathing techniques work. Like a lot of people look at them like almost down to them, like, oh yeah, it's oh, breathing technique. What's this going to do for me? It's
It's
not
an
going to do
awkward
anything.
thing if you've never done it, and
Right.
yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, if you've never tried it before, don't knock it till you try it. I mean, and I'm not going to lie, I was one of those where at the very beginning it was like, man, we're putting a lot of breathing techniques and stuff like this in for resources, and it's like, do we really need that many? Yeah. Yeah, you do. It's like a toolkit. Different ones are good for different points of stress. And I
And it depends
loved
on what the person prefers as well.
Yeah, yeah. Like I prefer that, 478. Somebody could prefer a box breathing technique. And I'm sure before we jump off, we'll kind of touch on like the process for several different ones for people to practice. Um, and then I'll post. Actually, I pulled little clips of different ones that I could probably throw up. Um, on screen a little bit for people, but you can find little clips on like Instagram and TikTok and stuff like that of breathing techniques, and they're like 30, 45-second, minute long clips, and it's like a circle that's pulsing, and you breathe with the circle, or you follow the ball around the box, and different, it walks you through it. So those are great little tools, I think, that to have on your phone and stuff like that, because everybody's got a phone nowadays. This isn't early 2000s anymore, and you're not paying per character for your text messages anymore. um that was a different side tangent. I apologize, I'm very old.
No, we
um
all just had like a nostalgic kind of flashback.
Yeah, yeah. Remember hitting one 3 times and then like
Oh
four
God,
How do you
twice and
text
then
without looking?
that's
oh
why you
yeah,
just
back in the
wouldn't
day.
text.
Oh no, I would text like a maniac.
Yeah.
Becca, free texting after 9 p.m.
Oh God.
That is going back. And then digging through the magazines to find a new disc for a 30-day trial of AOL. Yeah,
Oh,
I
how
know
far
there's
we've
another
come.
one here somewhere. Someone's got one. Um, Becca did say every single new thing that you do is going to be a little strange the first time, like with breathing techniques and relaxation. And one of the things that we've been doing, just yesterday, we started with our ambassadors and our shield bearers, was just asking them openly for Stress Awareness Month. What have they been doing for themselves? For stress, awareness month, and what do they do to relax? And I was very excited to see so many ambassadors sharing. Couple wiseacres, there's always a couple wiseacres, but sharing what they do to relax, and it's been really, really refreshing. Like Becca shared that they have been gardening a lot lately, doing some deep cleaning and spending more time outside with kids. And I think that also is a balance between like self care and you know kind of grounding techniques with you know getting outside, getting that fresh air, getting the vitamin D from the sun and everything. Um, Spending time with loved ones, deep cleaning, you're putting that energy into something productive. But also, the gardening is great with getting your hands in the soil. Hi, Sadie. Would you like to say goodnight? Yeah, she's over in the doorway, like this. And she's trying to walk over Duke, which is like trying to walk over a hill. No, he doesn't. Oh, there she is. Okay.
Good night.
Good night.
Good night. Oh my
Hey,
god.
Sadie.
They said hi.
Okay.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
because I can't.
Tell them I said
See, see, I waved earlier, and
She saw on this screen. Melissa waved from the doorway. She doesn't like being on camera. She's very shy. She's gone now. I got a side eye. But no, yeah, I think it's great. And some of the others have shared other things. Well, one was being sarcastic with, their day being brightened up by having my legs waxed on stream. Um, uh, Another person, B Pick, was sharing that after work in grad school, he always finds time to go for a swim, go on a walk, spend time doing something that brings peace to his mind, something that's very grounding.
Mm.
Um, Shafis, same thing, playing paddleball, the exercise, and it's been a great way to help him with extra stress, getting that stress out. And then others as well, sharing. Today we shared Exo Panta. It's been doing a lot of cleaning and then enjoying having the windows open, getting that fresh air, and it's been great for their mental health and just brain overall. Um, yeah, it's very exciting seeing a lot of people sharing. We're going to be doing posts all month long with other ambassadors sharing what they've been doing to kind of encourage people for different things that they could do for relaxation or to help manage their stress. And I think learning to manage your stress goes hand in hand with the breathing techniques and everything because it is managing your stress. That a lot of people have a difficulty starting off with knowing or learning how to manage their own stress. Some
Yeah.
people just don't know how to react in those moments and just let the emotions and stress take them over, and they kind of go down into a pit a little bit until later they eventually will fall asleep and their body helps regulate and everything, and then the next day they start off and they're a lot calmer the next day. um it's terrible to get to that point, but it does happen to a lot of people. So I think just asking what would be a good suggestion on, I guess, self-awareness and starting to manage, how to start managing your own stress.
I wanted to point out, even when you were sharing the examples of what other people have, it's a good
Mhm.
way to even just learn what other people do, because not everything that's out
Yeah.
there that the first things you read will work for you. And I think just not getting discouraged is a really important thing.
Yeah.
Just trying different things, even if something doesn't work once, to try it again later. You might just not been in the right headspace.
Yeah. No,
And that's
I
where the
100%
dangers of
agree.
social media comes in, where
Oh,
you'll
yeah.
find the health guru that say, "Well, this is absolutely going to work," and they're trying to sell you an essential oil. But
No.
and for some people it works, but for some people that doesn't.
No, you know what it is?
Mhm.
I get a bunch of people trying to sell me goalie gummies and whatever, on TikTok now, like belly fat, like, you know what I'm talking about. It's the three bottles, this is,
It may
uh,
have something to do with that.
but I'm going to tell you right now, this is a little side tangent. I tried ashwagandha, because they said it's predominantly good for to calm you, and this and that. I tried it. It had the opposite effect with me. It made me more irritable and short tempered until I stopped taking it and I was fine again. So maybe I'm just perfect, just the way I am, and I don't need ashwagandha because it just really threw everything off for me. But again, what didn't work for me could work for somebody else.
Yeah.
Um, you know, Maybe my body's chemistry is just that different enough that it had the opposite effect with me, where somebody who has a different chemical makeup, it helps relax them and, kind of helps them de-stress and everything like that. But yeah, it's you're exactly right. Social media is nothing but people trying to sell you on different this and that. And I'm not gonna lie, ever since I saw somebody wash, I'm gonna say, their socks in a motel or hotel coffee maker,
Ugh.
never
Oh, they
touching
and they
it ever
weren't just
again.
the socks. They
That's
weren't
we're
just
gonna
one.
leave it at socks.
Oh, I was gonna say it. Okay.
We all wanted to say it. We all know what it was, But the fact that I'm
The
never using a
nasty.
coffee maker, like they might as well take that out of the hotel room. I'm still taking the tea bags and the K cups with me home. I'm just saying right now, they are coming home with me. Uh, I
Well,
hoard
they're
them.
part of the price.
You're darn right. It, even the two
Right?
bottles of water they put in there, I think those are there too. It's funny. The hotel we were at, you got two complimentary bottles of water a day, but they had two bottles of Fiji water in the room that had a nice big $6 price tag on them. And it's like, why not just what? There's two, you know what? Whatever. Water's
What was
water.
the question again? I actually realized I may have derailed you. Because I wanted to just comment on just like the readings that you had um read off of the people.
Oh,
Um yeah. So like you had a question.
my question. Um, yeah, people just, what are some ways, just to go back, um, a lot of people seem to struggle with managing their stress. And then I think starting off with what are some ways people could start being, recognizing when the moments are coming on and when to start, applying managing their own, managing their stress, but how to start that process right there. That I worded it way differently that second time, but
Yeah, I think I got the gist. I had just realized I was like, oh, let's go back to that.
yes.
Essentially, it's when it's starting to interfere with your ability to just do stuff.
Disruptions.
Yeah, if you're not able to focus, if you're not able to string words together, you're not able to concentrate on the task that you have, or you're just so worried about what may happen that you're not able to just do anything, that would be a time to kind of take a step back. And breathing
Whatever's
exercise can help like regulate at that time.
I was gonna say whatever's just outside of your baseline. It's just good to know like what do you recognize physically that your body does when you're chill, and how can you pick up what cues are coming up whenever things are starting to get off balance. So you're breathing, you might start to feel like your heart's racing, you're sweating. um you don't have to wait until there's three or four or five of those symptoms that kind of come up. You can start to just know I'm off baseline, like I'm not really, that's more the physical, because I think, Jean, like you were talking about, kind of like the cognitive part, like the mental part. It's like we're actually not as focused, and that would be a good way to know, do I need to do something about this now?
So Val Walker was just saying that they started doing reverse psychology on their stress lately. So I don't think this example is reverse psychology, but so
More so
instead of,
gratitude.
yeah, instead of being frustrated with a dirty home, finding gratitude in having a home. Like it might be messy
Mhm.
right now, but I have a home, you know. Um,
Appreciation for what
yeah.
you're not seeing because your mind is skewed in that moment. You've got a negative bias. So take a step back and be an objective observer, kind of notice things from a distance. So yeah, appreciation.
Because our brains are geared for negativity. People think, oh, well, I need to be happy. I need to chase happiness. But the thing with our brains, it is solely focused on the negative. Because again, keep the meat sack alive. And it's always trying to see what can kill you. So it doesn't care that you had something like positive happen. So yeah, yeah, that's fine. Move on. Where's the bear? Where's the tiger? Where's the mammoth? Because it's always focusing on that.
Yeah, even if it's not in the moment. And I think that's what gets us in trouble, is we start to remember things that may not be in the moment, maybe in the future they're coming up, or even just ruminating. So thinking about things in the past.
So it's acknowledging and accepting that your brain's doing its job. It just does it really well. But the more you push against it, the more you're going to focus on it. The
Mhm.
more you try to not feel something, the more you're actually going to feel that thing. That's where taking that moment, stopping, breathing, grounding helps kind of re regulate towards where you want to move.
Yeah, it slows things down for you for sure.
Yeah. Yeah. So, what would be a suggestion if somebody's going into a high stress moment? What would be one suggestion to help calm themselves? Would it be either just separating themselves from the situation or a breathing technique to help? Because I know with our daughter, Sadie, who just came in, Melissa has worked with her from the very beginning. She is a very sensitive child. She gets overwhelmed and she does breathing with her, and she'll get her to take a deep breath. And you can see when she gets very riled up, taking that a moment to breathe will help calm her down in that moment. Um, so I this seems to all revolve around circling that fight or flight response. Um, I guess I don't know. I'm trying to think of ways or suggestions for different things. Kind of giving people viewing, and this will be on YouTube later. Different techniques and things that they can do. Tips and that for relaxation and high stress moments. Um, yeah.
Because the way it can maybe word it is stress isn't inherently bad. Stress can be good. Stress is trying to tell you something. The main thing is trying to figure out what it's trying to tell you. And if we can understand the why it's trying to tell you something, then we can maybe address it. So if you're stressed because you're going on a live stream and you're going to be talking to a bunch of people, well, it's trying to understand, all right, what is it that is generating that worry? Because if we just say, oh, I'm just going to do a breathing exercise to not feel this way, where we're not necessarily going to the meat and potatoes of the thing. And I know the point is not to do therapy, but it's to understand, why am I worried? Because again, brain's perceiving threat. We need to understand, why is it seeing it that way?
So
Mhm.
self reflection.
Yeah.
Um,
But the thing is, if your emotional side of your brain is too high, your rationality part is not engaged.
You're not level.
Yeah. So what used to be called like lizard brain, mammalian brain, kind of like the
Reptilian
mid brain, yeah, reptilian brain. It's this is focusing on meat sack not dying.
survival.
Everything else, your like cerebral cortex,
mhm.
is on like decision making and higher order cognitions. And when that midbrain is overactive, we cannot reason. We're just doing.
Hmm.
And that's where that breathing exercise can kind of come in. It's re engaging the logic.
There's a lot of science behind it.
Mm.
And the first part of what we were talking about, and that kind of ties into it, is it's your body's designed to regulate. You just need to know, you know, what's going on and have a list of tools to pick from ahead of time.
Yeah. Uh, and I think that's a real important thing, putting that toolkit together. And that's something that we talk a lot about with self care, having many different things that you can pull from, hence the term toolkit. Um,
Yeah.
yeah, you don't just have a screwdriver in there. You have several different screwdrivers, a hammer, pliers, snips, this tape measure,
Oh,
tape.
you can use a hammer to like put in a screw. It's not the
You,
most
well,
efficient tool.
you can. I've done it.
Yeah, I've used the butt end of screwdrivers to put in nails.
Mm.
My favorite is the you can't find any of that, and you use a socket wrench, the side of it, just and you use what's there. I mean, it's metal.
Yeah, I've
No,
used the level before.
well, I haven't done that one. You got me there. Uh, Yo, Polly, thank you so much for the sub, my man. Appreciate you. We just saw Polly uh, like 2 weeks ago. Hopefully, you had a safe drive home. You had a long way to go. So I think with putting together the foundations of your own toolkit for managing stress, I think having several different breathing techniques in there. And what are a couple that you would suggest people would try uh, to adopt or encourage them to try, when they're done with this stream?
The main one I like to recommend is the 478. That's kind of
478.
my
Yeah,
go-to.
that's one of my favorite ones. Therapeutic
Yeah.
Mogul, what's going on? How you doing tonight?
Mm.
Um, Yeah, I like that one. I like box breathing as well too, because that one, and any of these
The box breathing is
techniques,
simple.
it is
It's
very simple.
standard. It's repeatable.
It's one of those things, and I think with breathing techniques specifically, something that can be managed in a short period of time, something that doesn't take a long time to go through the whole process of it, is the most impactful in moments, because you can go through a breathing technique in 30 seconds to a minute versus having something that is more uh, involved time wise, that's going to take you a lot longer to achieve. So I think for immediate high stress moments or those fight or flight moments, having those several different quick action breathing techniques are one of the first things that I would suggest, adopting into a toolkit. And then after that, finding several different things that you can do later on that you can dedicate more time to. Like, kind of start with like micro breaks, something that's 30 seconds to like 2 minutes, that is, for like, not just like ideal situations, just things that you can do to help you reset very quickly. And then after that, go into more other things like we were sharing. You have gardening, going outside, fresh air, go for a walk, exercise, play a game for a little bit, that temporary escape that allows you separate yourself from a moment and just go to a quiet place, sit in your car, sit in a different room, and just have that moment where you can decompress a bit, and spend a few minutes in there. What would I just saw another chat pop up, and I just instantly went right to it. And I'm like,
Squirrel.
whoop.
Can I
Yeah,
add, I I I don't know, if maybe my mind's just a little bit more simple, but um the extended sort of exhale, like I said earlier, is the one where you just breathe in but breathe out longer. You the out breath is longer than the in.
Mm.
Sometimes it's just about getting that breath sort of paced in some way, because like I said, the even having like a therapist background, like sometimes I forget like the numbers. Like I'm not looking at it right now, I can tell you I already forgot. It's like 478, is it? Yeah.
478.
Yeah, no, and sometimes I flip them out. It's just like, it's 874 now. So it's like I have to find something pretty simple. So like that, you just have to figure out what works for you, you know?
Just so you know,
And the
Jean
tool
Luc,
doesn't need to be. Mm,
she did
what?
the extended breath several times in Boston with me. Uh, I must have been stressing her out.
I'm very discreet and good at it by now, so I'm just kidding.
I caught it.
But the thing with all of these tools, it doesn't need to be perfect. And if you do 3, 5, 7, it's fine. Or if you
Unless it's
do a
a
three, if you're doing 3, 3, 3, that's fine. Whatever kind of works for you, just as long as you're doing it.
Now,
good
some
point. Yep.
sometimes when I do breathing techniques, I forget. Am I supposed to breathe in through my nose and out through my mouth, or in through my mouth and out through my nose? Or I get in my own head sometimes, but in the same thing, whatever works for you, you know.
Yeah.
Think
Generally,
about,
it'll work better nose first and then out through the mouth.
but also remember when you might want to be doing this, your lips might be quivering, you might be crying, so it's if you could only do mouth for a little bit
Mm.
because gut's not, then yeah, go for it.
Yeah, it's where you can manage. Um, no, I love that. Love that. Um, and I did say we were going to stick around an hour, and we're 4 minutes away from an hour, even though it's
Oh, we
over
could derail for an
by
hour.
30 minutes.
You know, we
I
would.
So
I
now that we've
derailed
just
for
gone
30
through it,
minutes
let's just
prior.
keep going.
But you know what? I'm going to blame Blake, one of the other directors, for jumping in and just chatting
It's all
for
Blake's
30
fault.
minutes. It is Blake's fault.
Oh, poor Blake. We talked to him for 30 minutes, roughly, right?
I guarantee he just turned off the stream like, oh man, guys.
You
Oh,
bastards.
No, love you, Blake. No, if there was one, if someone could take one thing from tonight's conversations, uh, what do you hope it is?
For me, it's that taking care of yourself doesn't necessarily have to be perfect. Dealing
mm,
with stress doesn't need to be perfect. And this is true for like people that I've worked with clients, people on the internet, just because we've been so drilled into that, well, like manualized treatment. If you do like this particular thing this specific way, then it's going to work. People often get very discouraged, or they get discouraged of, I do this tool and it doesn't work. It takes time, and even if it's imperfect, it's having an impact.
I like that.
that's a good one.
Mm-hmm. He's good with them.
I know.
So I
It's
gotta
like,
do this for a job.
yeah. Wait, yeah. You're okay. Let me think.
I can
Um,
go ahead.
oh, go ahead, go. It'll give me a
Oh,
couple
all right.
seconds.
And give you a little more time to think. Mine is just the main takeaway. Everybody stresses. Everybody goes through moments where they're just overwhelmed, overstimulated, very, stressful moments that it's hard to deal with and work through. You're not alone in that. We all deal with that sort of thing and those moments. And hopefully with some of the suggestions and things we've talked about made people feel a little bit more comfortable, and some of the suggestions they're open to adopting them and giving them a try, because you can't knock it till you try it. And not everything works for everyone, but you might find something that works very well for you, that through the future, in moments of high stress and anxiety and things like that, you find work very well for you, and get several things, and encourage people to uh, listen to others, see what their suggestions are, and give it a shot. Give it a shot, try it, and start being more self aware of those triggers and things in those moments. That way, you're able to pull out your toolkit and utilize them and help you work through moments a little bit better, is what I'm hoping people get from our conversation tonight.
Remember, your brain just wants to keep the meat sack alive.
Keep the meat sack alive.
It's just doing its job.
At this point, I'm just it's being received as meat bag.
Meat bag, meat sack. One of my colleagues called
If
it.
it's meat bag, I
It's
hear it
yeah.
in Bender's voice, so it's funny.
Yeah.
I would
One of my
say,
colleagues called it trying to keep the Gundam alive.
You know what? Therapeutic Mogul was literally reading my mind right here. And she's like, your brain just wants to keep the meat sack alive is a t-shirt. And I was thinking, I'm like, we could make a t-shirt out of that. And then I'm like, a different one, change up the graphic and have it a meat bag. But then I started instantly thinking, like, for like 5 seconds, like, that's IP infringement. That's a lawsuit. And it's like, maybe not. They seem pretty chill, but no, that is definitely worthy of a t-shirt. But
I would
yeah,
say, just because you need skills doesn't make you defective, doesn't
Mm,
make you broken, doesn't make you less than or any of that. Um, it's part of what we're supposed to do to regulate. We're wired this way, we're designed this way, we have the capacity to feel the full spectrum of human emotion. So whatever it is that you are willing to try will be what you will try at that moment. And the next time you will know what works and what doesn't work, and you'll just keep going.
I
So
love it.
you're
Mhm.
okay.
I love it. Yeah, fantastic.
Can I end it with you're not alone?
You can.
You're not alone.
You're not. Therapeutic Mogul. Helpful to remember that even the dysfunctional moments are ways that our brains are trying to keep the Gundam running. I like that one too. That's a good one. Uh, I think that's fantastic. I think that's a great point to leave right there because we don't want to beat the topic to death or anything. But we will be back later, I believe, in 2 weeks or in a
The
week. I'll have
23rd, I
yeah.
think. Mhm.
And the next topic is going to, I believe, it's centered around. Now I gotta find it because I don't want to mess it up.
Yeah, you messaged me. I'll look it up too.
I did, and then I wrote a wall of messages from a meeting
Yeah.
had yesterday, and now, uh, uh, I believe, oh yeah, it's centered around social media, tilt, and things like that, and oh god, nope, I know the beginning of the topic. Uh, stressors online, tilting, social media, and how to be safe or self-aware is a good topic to have this month as well too. So our next one's gonna be talking about stressors online, tilting in video games, what tilt is, what you can do to overcome it, as well as social media, taking breaks from social media. We were just talking about people trying to sell us nonsense on social media all the time, and doing terrible
Oh, I
things.
could make a whole rant on that.
Oh,
Did
well,
Melissa talk to you about some gummies that I was telling her about to tell you about? And I figured maybe you were starting to look those up, and maybe that's why now you're all getting this like gummies on your.
no, but I'm going to ask her here in a minute. Oh,
That's why I was like, oh, that might. Sorry.
that might be it. No, I'm going to ask her. I don't even have to write that down to remember that one. But no, I think that's going to be a great topic to have. And I think we'll try and invite some of our ambassadors and shield bearers on as well, too, or anybody else that wants to come on and join a voice chat with us and join in the conversation. I think it's a lot more fun. The more people we have, thank you everybody who's in the chat who has taken part. Therapeutic, if you want to join us for our next roundtable, you're more than welcome to as well too. I
Absolutely.
know, we've been playing like phone tag for like 2 years, and just finding like a time to like chat more in depth has been just terrible for our schedules, but we will make it happen. But we're going to go ahead and we're going to raid one of our community members. We're going to raid Spirit. Spirit is got a lot of spirit, to say the least. She is very energetic, and just a great person overall. I think it would be a great raid right there if I did it right. Yep, I did. Awesome. All right. Hopefully everybody has a great weekend. We'll be back tomorrow night with doing some mindful painting. I'm still working on this guy, so we got to finish him, and I think we might do that here tomorrow. We're getting there. We got several. This is like 6 hours, 7 hours into it. And then also next Tuesday, very special stream. Tune in from 4 p.m. to 7 p.m. Pacific time. We will be live with the Bungie Foundation, our friend Britley and others, and we are going to be doing a mindful painting session, a very special one for Stress Awareness Month. And we are going to be painting mini ghosts again, and that's going to be a lot of fun. I already know what I'm going to be doing with mine. And
I'm
it's
already planning mine too.
Oh, it's mental health
feel
themed.
like
I
I'm
can't wait to
missing
tell
out
you.
now.
I can rush order something to you if you want.
We can talk later.
Okay. All right. All right, everybody have a great night. Oracle, I see you. Val, thank you so much for joining the conversation. I believe we have a pin coming your way too. Thank you for being patient on that. Everybody have a great night. Have fun. Bye.
Bye.
Okay, we rated out. Good. Before we get off, there is one other thing. Oh my God. She's doing fireball shots and she's got a fucking ball cap on. Guess I should have fucking waited to fucking raid her. Oh my God.
It's relaxation somehow.
Oh my God. Jeez, she's a freaking ball of fire, that one. Oh my God. She's got a fucking 8-pack of goddamn fireball right there next to her.